I am specifically attracted with that phrase that you have uttered, be fearless. In your long years of being a fashion designer, icon, I know you have several reasons why you have chosen that phrase, not only addressed to the millennials, but for everybody. And I'm sure what is within that phrase is indeed so witty, why you had that. And at 71, I believe it's one of your inspiring phrase, why you were able to keep yourself having that good looks. That's my question for you and for Sir Clement Yang. What is there in you that after 3 decades being in business here in the Philippines, you have kept yourself free from labor stress and legal problems? Because that is highly inspiring. Because most of the entrepreneurs, especially in the Philippines, those were their biggest problems, legal stress and labor problems. How did you do that, sir? Thank you.
Should I answer you first?
Yes, please.
Be fearless. I think it's because of growing up. One time I got bullied. I was about 6 years old, and at the time, Chinese were not very welcome in the province where I stayed. So they called me a Chinese pig. But really, I'm a pig, because this is the year of my year. And so I felt very hurt. So I went to my grandmother, who was a Filipina, and the one who was weaving, and I said, "Grandma, why? What's so different about me?" So I was so upset about my eyes being small. So I would wear 3 layers of eyelashes as a model. I wanted big eyes, and that's why I had crushes on my girlfriends who had big eyes with Spanish blood. And so my grandma said one thing: who you are, you will always be who you are inside. Whatever people tell you outside, that you're stupid, you're silly, you're crazy, and you are not thinking logically, because one day you might think of ideas that nobody will agree with. But what you are inside, and the force that tells you to move on, you cling to that, because that's who you are. And I was so small, I was 6 years old, and she kept on repeating and repeating it to me, that I really knew what it meant when I was 13. So at 13, I know where I was going, because of grandma. So I'm really quite fearless. But I have friends who motivate me when I'm about to give up. And there are moments I cry, there are moments I want to give up. But because I still remember what your dream is, go for it, no matter what. And if you fail, you will learn from it. And you become a better person for the next project. Thank you.
Come to Philippines to put investment in Philippines, and you have so many working staff, employees. The biggest numbers of employees in Philippines, we have more than maybe 1,500, close to 2,000 people that we work with. And most of foreign investors, they have the impression that labor union, strikes is a major problem for to have factories in Philippines. Remember 1986, before the People's Power, when we come over, there are almost over 30 to 40% of factories, they all shut down because union is so strong. They want to block if you asking for any special request or special benefit. There's a confrontation with the owners. The owner was so tough too. So there's a confrontation, and so nobody want to beg a little bit. So they stop the productions. The owner believes they can win. And unions believe they can win, so they shut down the factory, block the gate, and create a big economic disaster at that time. So both parties, you know, the labor side, the federation of employers, they all get hurt. There are big time that unemployment rate is over 20 to 30%. It's hurt economy. And both parties learned after that. Therefore, when I remember I start my first production site 1987 in Badan, 80% of factory in Badan closed down. And we are the first new investors start in Badan, and we have many employees. They love to work. After 6 months, according to the law, workers can start to form a union through a vote. And we are, at that time we work, also go through a vote. Can you believe we are the first company, factories that workers vote for no union? Amazing. So, meaning workers learn. Unions also learn. Okay, that's a good, you know, all the new system when they come out, people try and learn and improve. So I'm lucky, I was lucky. And then actually the next years I told our management, we said, the union is the natural privilege, it is the right for workers. I have no problem to accept unions. The only thing is, all the management, when the owners, you know, hire a management to work with workers, they feel it is a challenge if there's a union, and there's a union strike, there's a CBA, collective bargaining agreement. They're afraid. And whenever there's a new negotiation for the CBA, usually the factory stop for 3 days. And usually people cannot afford to stop even for 3 days. I told them, don't worry, it is a cost running a business, running a factory. So don't worry, go ahead. So they relaxed. And I said, just open your heart, open your mind and talk to them. And we never fail. We never fail go through a CBA. So for the past 30 years, we never have problems. And on the other hand, whenever I represent Philippine side to talk to all the investors and new investors, a forum, I always tell, what is the most benefit to come to Philippines? Our workers are nice. We never have unions. And the key, the very key is actually in Philippines for the past 30 years, the minimum wage moved very stable. Therefore, this is the most benefit things for the investor coming. So, you know, ambassador this morning, he told me in public, in a speech, he said, Clement, my old friend, I think he's a forever Filipino friend. I'm very proud of it. Thank you.